This practice starts standing at the top of your mat. So let's come up to standing, please. Traditional Ashtanga, kind of considered the original vinyasa. You start right at standing at the top of your mat. They start with just centering for a moment, okay? Finding a couple deep breaths in and out the nose, closing your eyes. Just creating a little bit more meditative properties in the mind and body. A little bit more centered and present. Still, subtly aware. Remember that my speed doesn't necessarily, determine yours, that I'm a little ahead on purpose. Listen to your body. If you always move really slow, maybe try to move a little faster here and there, or vice versa. If you're always moving too fast, time to maybe slow down, okay? Here we go. Let's take a big inhale. Big exhale. Starting right in sun salutation A this morning. On your inhale, let's reach our arms up. Look up. Exhale, forward bend. Bend your knees, reach for your toes. Inhale, half lift, hands on your knees or below on your shins. Let's step back to plank. Just like Ashtanga. Shifting forward, bending the elbows, either halfway or to your chest. Don't forget your hands can be on blocks here, yogis. Inhale, I'm showing Cobra 1. Don't forget, you can always take it further. Cobra 2, full Cobra, up dog. Down dog, hips up and back. 3 breaths, please. First down dog, maybe a little extra movement. Kind of feeling out your body. Moving in ways that feel good. Remember that, there's a high level of discipline in yoga. I mentioned if you're always moving fast, move slow. But there's also a creative aspect. So remember that sun salutation can come in many forms. Doesn't have to be exact, okay? And on your next inhale, let's bend our knees, look between our hands. We're gonna hop or step, walk gracefully to the front of your mat. Inhale is our half lift. Notice our breath is guiding our movement. Exhale is the forward bend. Inhale, we stand tall and reach up and look up. Exhale, hands at heart center or down by side. Round 2 is a little faster. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. High plank, step back. Don't forget you can add extra push-ups if you'd like. Bend your elbows halfway or all the way down. Just for demonstration purposes, I'm showing more of that full Cobra 2. Second time through, I'll demo the different option because we're going to do 3 rounds. Down dog, you got 3 breaths. Now maybe lifting those sit bones up and back a little stronger, energetically at least, heels toward the floor. Try to press the inner hand and foot down, relax the back of the neck and breathe skillfully, lengthening the waistlines. If you know how to rotationally work your arms and leg, your upper outer arm kind of rolls under and in, your inner thighs roll kind of in and back and out. So your arms laterally rotate while your externally rotate while your thighs more medially rotate. So it is the opposite. Last round, inhale, bend knees, look forward, hop or step forward. Inhale is a half lift. Exhale is your forward fold. Your inhale guides you to your standing, reaching your arms high. Exhale back to our first position, the standing meditation. Last round, inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold, hands toward the floor. Inhale, half lift. High plank, step back. Bend elbows. Now I'll show the up dog, hovering halfway. Arms more straight, legs more hovering. Engage your legs more. Pull the navel in and up, chest up. Down dog, hips up and back. Use that core. Remember, guys, it's important to pull your abdomen in. That's going to help stabilize the lumbar, the lower back arch, as we're going to put in a lot of range and tension and weight on that part of your body. On your next inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Make your way on the exhale to the front of your mat, forward bend. Inhale is your half lift. Your exhale is your forward fold. Inhale, Inhale, we rise, we reach. Exhale, we meditate. Sun Salutation B, this is where we start to build what's called Progressive Vinyasa, okay? First time through, classic. Chair pose, arms down by side. Inhale, reach your arms down, then up, bend those knees, find your chair. Take an extra breath or two there. Not a long hold though. You know, really guys, Vinyasa yoga is not holding postures. Okay, last week we did that. So we're trying to kind of see the contrasting types of yoga. Big inhale. Exhale, forward fold over the legs. Inhale is your half lift, just like earlier. High plank to low plank. Now taking it through your vinyasa. We will do extra of these today. We didn't do any last week. Okay. I'll stick with Cobra 1 today. Tends to be my favorite variation here. You know, overall feels the best in my body. I can create the most length. Provide the most support as I bend. Downward facing dog. Classic variation. Right foot steps forward. In the classic variation, we do not lift the leg up and back. Seal your back heel, strong legs, let's rise up. Notice my back foot is angled forward. It is not facing to the side like I am here. My back toes do angle forward. Right hip back, ribs pull in, reach up. 2 more breaths. Just notice if your back tends to overarch. That's totally common here. You want to try to pull the ribs in. As your left leg is back, he wants to take the pelvis with it. Okay, big inhale here. High plank to low plank. Exhale, hands plant, right foot back. Don't forget you can have a 3-legged plank movement down. I suggest maybe still taking the double leg back bend. Down dog is your exhale. No rush getting there, guys. Left foot steps inside your left thumb. Back heel seals. Finding your first big kind of lunge position we call Warrior 1. With the back heel sealed down in Warrior 1, the back toes angled forward. So remember that back hip, the back leg doesn't only want to take the pelvis in an anterior tilt, so cause arching of the back. It also wants to pull the right hip back with it. So we have to bring the right hip forward and the tailbone more down and under, okay? That's what I mentioned about engaging your core in a way that's supporting your lumbar back. You're not just dumping into an arch of your spine, okay? Now go slow, bend that front knee, take that big inhale. And then on the exhale, it's a slow movement to low plank. So that's a long exhale with quite a bit of movement there. Inhale is your back bend. Exhale is your forward bend. Down dog. On your next inhale, bend your knees. We're going to keep moving. Hopper step forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Chair, bend knees, reach arms high. Exhale, stand, hands at the heart. Round 2, progressive, now adding on. Starting the same way though, chair, inhale, go ahead. Exhale, forward bend, weight into the toes. Inhale, half lift. Optional vinyasa. You know, from here you can start to skip them if you feel like you need to. And just step back and wait, take an extra breath and down dog. So progressive vinyasa is building on our foundational movements. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg goes high. If you'd like to bend the knee and open up the hip, take 2 to 3 extra breaths. So this is called like half scorpion in a lot of realms of yoga. That leg is like a big scorpion tail kind of bending up and over. Just notice that leg going up, it wants to compensate. The left armpit might dip low. Try to lift the left armpit up and be strong in that left arm in particular. And it might want to tense the neck. Try to relax the neck a little bit. Inhale, right leg high. Also lift your left heel. Exhale, shift to plank. Right knee, forehead. Now stepping that right foot forward. So let's stay here now. Progressive vinyasa. Okay? Lengthen your chest forward. Option, drop your back knee down, reach your arms high. We're not going to hold long though, yogis, because it's vinyasa, okay? Maybe just 2 to 3 breaths of each pose. So close your eyes and focus. Big inhale here, please. Exhale, hands plant. Back toes tucked, back heel seals. Straightening front leg for pyramid. So it's back bend to forward bend. It's kind of similar, right? Don't worry, open hips are coming soon, twists are coming soon. Right hip back. Inhale, lengthen chest. Here's where blocks would be very handy. My little pups are moving my blocks all around. But blocks are always good. Right hip back, lengthen chest forward, forward fold. It's called pyramid posture. Remember, your right leg being forward wants to take the right hip with it. So work against that compensation tension pull. The tightness of your body causes bones to be pulled in space. That's called tensegrity, right? That's a really big term in the myofascial work. Now go slow. Bend your front knee. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, plant your hands. Right leg back. If you want to go three-legged dog for a moment, some of you might be ready to flip your dog. You can bring it there if you'd like. Vinyasa is the most creative form of yoga, okay? Optional vinyasa chaturanga, high plank to low plank. We've got over chin balance. I'm not going to demo that right now just because my back's a little tight. I did a strong workout where I really challenged my body about 2 days ago, and I'm still feeling it. Particularly lengthened my back and rounded form with weight. So I'm going to be easy on my body today. Downward facing dog, guys. Inhale, left leg goes high. Yeah, nice. Some of these are taking a rest. A couple of these are doing shavasana. That's cool too, right? Yeah, stretch here, guys. This is active stretching. So use muscular activation to create reciprocal inhibition or release through antagonist muscle groups, okay? By bending the knee deep, squeezing the heel to butt, and lifting that femur bone up and back, you're getting that double front line release, okay? Now go slow. Big inhale, left leg goes high. Lift that right heel too, right? And then exhale, take this one slow. Make sure you really take a moment to really squeeze and compress the core now. And then left foot inside your left thumb. Stay in a little lunge just for a breath. Sometimes we hold this posture, right? This is a shorter class, so we're gonna skip the low lunge hold and drop our back knee down and then reach our arms up. So we're gonna go for that big psoas release. This is one of my favorite back bend preps. Anytime I wanna get somebody ready to back bend, a lot of Anjaneyasana, usually moving in and out of it and holding it, okay? Sometimes you add a little twist here, a little side bend here, depending on your intention. They're all really nice versions. Remember that you can add lateral or rotational qualities to basically any yoga form. Big inhale. Exhale, hands plant on blocks. For a lot of us, seal the back heel. Maybe step your back foot in and straighten that front leg now. Inhale, half lift. Pull your left hip back. Lengthen your chest and forward fold. Not an easy posture to keep a long spine in. So if you need to grab your blocks, probably the first really big posture we need blocks with, right? Big inhale. No rush. Bend front knee. Maybe slide back foot back a little. Inhale, warrior one. We just seal in with the strength. So we have the really stretchy postures. We tighten everything up for a brief moment. Strengthen our flex. Hands plant. Inhale, left leg backing up. Now taking that extra breath to extend the left hip. After it had a couple different flexion positions. Take yourself through your vinyasa if you'd like. Meet back in dog. So push-ups, somebody's taking cat-cow or child pose. That's totally awesome. In between really represents kind of the vinyasa chaturanga is like a palate cleanser, energetically, spiritually, physically. Just kind of cleansing that palate, neutralizing, so you can do everything that's next. Really clean slate. Okay? Down dog. Inhale, bend knees, look forward. Hop, float at the front of your mat. Okay, inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Adding on, chair posture. Standing, adding on, hands behind back, intertwine fingers. Squeeze your palms together, roll your shoulders back. Hover left foot. Hinge, left leg goes back and up, warrior three. If you can see the biomechanics, right? We've done the back knee down lunge. We've done high lunge. We've done straight leg forward bending. Now we're in a sense, putting those together. So the first balance, it's all been on this sagittal plane, very forward and back, very minimal rotation and lateral. That is coming though, guys, okay? So we're in warrior three here. Don't forget, you can always take this to standing split and handstand hops. Go slow. Stand back up. Left foot down. Intertwine your opposite pinky in the back. Try to keep your arms behind you to down, okay? I'm engaging my butt, lifting my chest, rolling my shoulders. Right foot hovers. Now, like a pendulum, your right leg and chest kind of stay in the same plane. As I bend my left knee, my chest starts to come forward and down, and my right leg starts to go back and up. Go ahead, you know the deal here. Work the pose a little bit. That doesn't mean rush to the pose. So now really I'm breaking the rules of vinyasa a little bit. If you do a vinyasa workshop, you are moving like crazy. Vinyasa workshop, I got to travel and teach 5 workshops, and I chose to teach vinyasa as a style. And we set up these complex flows. I teach them, and then you turn up the music and you dance and flow. That's true vinyasa. This is still intro vinyasa. Go slow, standing position. They call this the standing meditation or the sacred pause. You come back to your center. Again, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. High plank to low plank. Notice if I jump back, yogis, if you want the quick demo, I do bend my arms and shoot my chest forward. The chest forward is the counterbalance. The arms catches the weight in the middle. Right into low plank, right? It's not high plank jump back. Down dog, please. Let's keep it moving. This class is going to be over before you know it. Inhale, right leg rises. Now, open up your hip again. Progressive means building on. Option to flip your dog now. Go slow, right? Lift your left heel, pivot on the ball of your left foot. Right foot off your mat behind you. You want your right foot underneath your right hamstring, holding weight. Too often, we're too much weight in our left hand here, left foot initially. Put more weight into the right leg that's bent. Bent legs are straighter or stronger here than that straight leg. Top arm might reach forward. You feel like a little dancer for a moment. And then you do work the movements. That's called vinyasa. Inhale, three-legged dog. Lift the right leg back up. Exhale, right knee, forehead. Shift forward to plank. Step your right foot inside your right thumb. Okay? A little bit different here, yogis. Seal your back heel. Right hand down. Outside the right foot, inhale, left arm up. It's called side angle. So it's like warrior two, but you're bent over. A lot of us might have a block underneath my right hand here. Bend the right knee, press the feet down. Left arm can go high or forward. If you're ready, left arm around the back, half bind. Left hand would sneak kind of inside my right thigh. Some of us might be ready for full bind. Who am I to say what you should be doing? Elbow inside. Hands are behind the right hip now, okay? So you can see their bind. Initially, your fingers kind of meet, but eventually, the bottom hand grips the top wrist and the top arm straightens. I'll be honest, I don't really do strong exercise in the mornings. I teach every morning. I tend to do more like cardio type things in the morning if I'm gonna build up a sweat. But I save my resistance training for usually a little late morning or afternoon. So my body's not really ready for hyper range and resistance yet. Go through phases though, right? Now go slow. Warrior two. Release your arms. You might want to straighten and bend your knee a little bit. This is all classic stuff, okay? Front knee over front heel. Back toes angle forward. Gaze forward. It is a long bent knee moment. So what does that most likely mean? Straight leg is coming, okay? Well, in my practice anyway. A lot of instructors you'll see, man, they'll keep you in bent knee for 18 postures in a row on one side. It's usually considered advanced. The more similar postures you string together, the more endurance and strain and weight and tension or compression, usually considered more advanced. Beginners like side to side, okay? Go slow, guys. Straighten your front leg. If you want to do reverse warrior, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to skip that posture today. Right leg straight, back foot might step in a little bit. Good idea to have your block. Right hip down, reach out, hinge. Look how I'm enjoying the ride. Notice I am not rushing to the posture. I might not even go to the full range today. I like to hold like a middle triangle, I call it. Left arm can go around the back. You're feeling really good. Arms can reach forward. I do want to, yogis, anytime you reach both arms forward here, you are flirting with injury, big time, okay? You reach those arms forward, it creates the lever. It creates way more weight, and which means tension on your lateral back. This is your deepest lower back muscle, which is a lateral stabilizer. I'm just telling you, you do this one, you're asking for back pain, but you're also asking for a really strong lower back. You gotta, you're really challenging it. So, it's good to start with maybe like one arm forward. That top arm is really the next level. Final pose of sequence, half moon, bend right knee. That gives you a moment to soften that leg. Right hand on block or floor. Look how my right hand is really far forward. You guys know these postures. We're not doing anything fancy. Next week is fancy weird yoga. So we did Hatha Asana, holding postures. Now we're kind of in more of these sequencing flows. Next week is weird yoga. So bring your weird yoga hat to practice next week and your blindfold. And we'll wear our weird hat and do a lot of weird yogas, okay? If you like to go big, it's left hand behind you to left foot for the chapa. Last moment here, guys. Now, how slow can you go? You bend your standing knee. Look how I work my exit. You see this? Warrior two, straighten right leg, turn right toes in, hands on hips. If you're really quick with it, you can go Gomukhasana. Not really a classic vinyasa thing here, but it's a really nice way to get those shoulders going. Right arm out, back, down, left arm up, behind, hands meet. Be careful, big stretch here, guys. Big inhale, lift the chest, and forward fold. If you want to do headstand, this is where it all starts, because I'm going to do headstand here and handstand hops in the next chair round, progressive, okay? When you're teaching young yoga teachers to teach yoga classes, progressive vinyasa is kind of the one main styles you teach. You have a fundamental kind of movement through spaces and symmetry, ideally, and then you keep building postures off of that kind of framework. It's a really nice way to practice. And it gives a lot of structure to people, okay? Now go slow, yogis. Some of you are in headstand, you stay till the end of class. Bend the knees, let's rise up. Step your back foot forward. Now this is how handstand hops start, okay? I'm gonna find my chair pose. If you're watching just for a brief moment, you're gonna inhale here. Exhale, hands plant, hips lift. Notice my knees stay bent, little spring. Chair, here. Look, if you notice, yogis, this posture is the same as kind of this, right? It's the same body form. So you're trying to do that same posture, same form on your hands and on your feet. It's a nice way to start adding a little bit more what we call fast twitch exercise. Yogis, it's really good to move your body fast, right? My mom is 71, and she'll jog on the beach every morning in her morning walk. She tries to go fast on good days. We want to make sure that we're stimulating the brain in many different ways, particularly in challenging ways. You got to do something that scares you a little bit every practice. All right, next time you're in chair, forward bend on that exhale. Inhale, half lift. Optional vinyasa. Otherwise, skip to dog. Just hold down dog. Might be a good moment for a child pose too, right? You gotta find your own rest in this type of practice. You take 1 or 2 breaths just to kind of reset, cleanse the palate, and then we do our second side. Slow down the mind by slowing down the breath. On your inhale, left leg goes high, open up your hip, skillfully work on not falling into the position. Resist the idea of falling back into it. Left foot off your mat behind you. You have to pivot on your right ball of the foot. So your right heel lifts as you kind of twist open. It's a very twisty, back bendy, challenging form, especially if you're new to yoga. This is a flip dog, and it's very commonly taught in yoga, but it's a really good way to make your body sore as well. So complex in the body, so asymmetrical. Remember that asymmetrical postures are more likely to make you sore. All right. Now, how slow can you go back through your 3-legged dog really skillfully? All right. And then the left knee forehead, we're eventually going to step our left foot inside our left thumb. Left hand down, back heel seals. Inhale, right arm out and up. Notice how there's one long line from my heel kind of through my shoulder. And if I could reach that top arm forward. Now, if you're lower, okay, top arm can also go up around the back. Some of us got elbow inside knee and we're working the bind. There's going to be more strength there and more flexibility. So, I don't teach binds too much in these big general classes. Always throw them in if you want. They're all throughout yoga, okay? Nice, Ryan. Yeah, push that knee into the arm and the arm into the knee. So there's that kind of work against each other. The resistance. Nice, Brian. Nice, Carol. So Teresa, you're in the revolved. We're going to go there next, all right? That's cool if you want to switch it up. I don't mind. Okay, big inhale. Now, see if you can keep everything the same. Just rise up warrior 2. So a lot of times we go warrior 2 into side angle. We did this kind of reverse approach. So postures but done in a different routine, right? So it just kind of changes the dynamics of the body. Find your warrior 2. I know, I want those legs burning. I want you to start, in a sense, getting a little nervous, getting a little uncomfortable. You're holding the bent knees all too long. There's too many chairs. There's too many lunges. That's the foundation, squatting and lunging, okay? Now, I'm not going to teach reverse. I saw a lot of you do it. You're going to eventually straighten your front leg, maybe walk your back foot in a little bit, okay? Drop your front hip down. That's the real big thing in this triangle, okay? It's the biggest lateral tilt of class, that. Notice my upper body doesn't even move. It's just this pelvic tilt happening. Then I reach out over the leg and I hinge. I know a lot of people come into power yoga. They want to get that ultimate power yoga handstand pose. And my suggestion is always relate all postures to handstand. I mentioned reaching both arms forward. If you want to get handstand, you have to really be able to reach your arms forward here and straighten those arms and lengthen through your core equally and engage your legs. So a handstand person, I want to get handstand. What's the most practical thing I can do? Turn every single yoga pose into handstand, right? And how does that happen? It's basically by lengthening your core. See, that would look like handstand if my legs were out to the side, or if it's warrior 2, you're here, right? If it's side angle, you're here. How can you really turn them all into that? And even half moon can be that. Now bend your front knee, look down, walk that left hand forward, yogis. Boom, right leg starts to lift. Fantastic core strengthener here, guys. I didn't say it today. Left hand down is a training wheel. Eventually you gotta throw out the training wheel, guys. Okay, you gotta step into that unknown. It's just like a bike, same metaphor. You can't be using those extra wheels your whole life. You gotta throw out that wheel, especially on a good day when you're feeling brave and strong. You gotta try to balance that bike better. You gotta try to balance your body better. Left hand is an assisted half pose. They call it half moon because it's a half form. Full moon is hand off floor. The pose, by definition, does not have the hand on the floor, just like warrior 3. Hands on the floor is the assist. It's like a half warrior 3, supported warrior 3. It allows your core and your legs to disengage. You do not want that. Okay? There are times to do that, but you're working out of it, okay? How slow can you go? Bending, standing knee. Right foot will eventually land. I'm a little fast on that side. My timing isn't perfect, okay? So you do your thing. Inhale, hands on hips, think little standing back bend. Exhale, forward bend. Some of you did Gomukhasana, it looks like this. Hands here. Forward bend. Make sure your feet are not turned out, yogis. They're more parallel. They're not turned in. Parallel, okay?
You know, you see that a lot. Your feet angled inward here is advanced, okay? It is hypermedial rotation. Hypermedial lengthens the hips away from the sacrum. So you're gonna get less support in your sacroiliac joint, the SI. You want feet parallel as a very good general rule of thumb in hyper range to start, okay? Feet turned out, same thing. You're gonna get a lot of restriction there. Start parallel. You can work more of a rotational quality in forward bends. Headstanders, you know the deal here. You're having some fun going for it. Nice, Jamie. Nice, Ryan. There it is, Brian. Nice, everyone. Looks good, guys. Come on, express yourself in yoga. Go for it, especially if you're having a good day, all right? You got to take advantage of those days where your body's feeling good and capitalize on growth by challenging it. No rush, guys. We're going to stand back up slowly. We're going to step the back foot to the front of the mat. Now, we're going to do one more arm balance opportunity. I'm focusing on bigger inversions, headstands, handstands. If you want to do crow here, you can go to yogi squat instead of holding chair. If you know your Kakasana, bent arm crow, elbows on triceps, we've done it 1,000 times. Or I want another round of these, what we call Shakti kicks. Shakti literally means power. It actually means like compassionate power or the feminine power or the power of love. You know, there's a lot of different definitions for this ancient yoga term of the hidden energy we're trying to bring forth. So you go to your chair, you inhale, you exhale, hands plant, little spring. Now with practice, you're going to be able to stick that, but you still want to kind of, in a sense, just like vinyasa, as you get better at working holding pose, work control in between. That's really the way we start to get a really good handstand or any arm balance, is controlling the kind of space around and outside of the form of the pose. So once you enter there, your body's used to the idea of like tensing or activating in that. So when you can get the whole handstand, you're going to start to fall, but then you're used to kind of being not stacked. You can pull it back in, okay? It's an opportunity to get moving a little bit more, okay? One of these weeks in this class, we're building. Next week's Weird Yoga. We're going to do Kriya Yoga one of these weeks as well. And then we're going to do True Vinyasa, as I call it. True Vinyasa Yoga. I set up a flow. You go through on your own multiple times. And that's going to be our practice one day. Down dog, please. Optional Vinyasa. Last standing flow. Down dog, please. Big inhale on your nose. Big exhale. Inhale, right leg goes high. Quick taste. Walk your hands to the back of your mat, standing split at the back of your mat. Quick poses, short class. We only have about 15 minutes left. Peak positions, usually considered rotational forms. Walk your hands slowly back to the front of your mat. Three-legged dog. Right knee forehead, step your right foot forward. Back heel stays lifted for most of us. Left hand down, right arm up. This is revolve side angle. You're more than welcome to hook the elbow. You're more than welcome to bring the hand outside the thigh, the Ashtanga Classic. You could reach your top arm forward, work on a bind here. Many options to be creative. It is really good to, on a good day especially, approach spaces you're not familiar with in forms. Confusing the brain, confusing your muscles. That's how you train them to adapt. Keep your right arm high. This is just like the previous flow. Rise up now with my right arm to the back. Notice my bent knee in the back. So I don't want to be here. You see how my back's arched more? And I'm leaning forward. Bring that upper body back. Pull the ribs in by bending the knee a little bit. Gaze back. Palms up. You can work on straightening your back knee more, but pull the ribs in and against it. Right hand finds the back of your left leg. Take your reverse. Remember the idea of Hatha Vinyasa is a type of Hatha yoga? The balance, the yin, the yang, the strength with the stretch, the easiness with the intensity, okay? The movement in the stillness too. Now go slow, back up to center. Straighten your front leg, maybe step your back foot in, maybe seal your back heel. High entrance, revolve triangle. This is the more difficult entrance. Reach forward, now hinge laterally. Stay twisted. Left hand down, right arm up. Take your time. Remember, you do not have to keep up with me, guys. This is usually considered like intermediate transitions because you're in twisted, bent over, reverse, back bend. Now you're forward bending in the straight spine again, okay? And then we have one more posture here. Stay twisted, bend your right knee, look down a little bit. Just holding your shoulder up here is really good for the back of the shoulder, okay? Left hand forward, left leg lifts, half moon, revolved. Deep breathing, please. As Mr. Iyengar used to say, the best yogi is the best breather. Even though breathing is considered beginner yoga, it's kind of like higher tier of beginner yoga, okay? The physical stuff comes first, but the breath is so much more subtle, especially when there's so much demand on the body. It's easy to go sympathetic brain, you're in the stress, emotional, and you can't slow down your mind enough to focus on subtle breath control, okay? After you're good at the poses, you start to refine your breath, keep your body in that more mindful state. Go slow. Bend standing knee. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, last vinyasa if you'd like. High plank to low plank. Well, you might have one after this. We're going to meet back in down dog, please. Take one breath in your dog. So you come to a physical position that's kind of neutral where you can come back to that breath. If it got too carried away, too erratic, too stressful, too mindless, bring them back to a mindful, self-aware, intentional state, okay? And then from that space, you start your second side. On your inhale, you lift your left leg high. You slowly walk your hands to the back of your mat. And you find a standing split near the back of your mat. Just a quick taste here, guys. One of our kind of peak, it's kind of like the peak isolated, sagittal position. It's biggest forward bend with the biggest hip extension. You've done tons of preps for this, leg back and engaged. And now you take it to that edge of the standing split, active range. And then you take your time walking your hands forward, lifting that leg up one more time. You exhale, shift to plank, slowly left knee forehead, step your left foot inside your left thumb. Notice I don't say in between the hands, I say inside the hand. So it's still about hips width distance. Twist your left arm out and up for your revolved side angle type form or low lunge twist. Some of us have a hand on a block, some of us hook the elbow, some of us reach top arm forward. There is a really big bind here, but you at least have to start getting your elbow outside your left thigh here to start. So right elbow would be outside and even slide the tricep down. So it's almost like you're under your armpit, back of your shoulder of the right arm is on the left outer knee. And you have to immediately rotate your arm. I'm not going to show that right now. That is a really big shoulder opener, by the way. Okay. And both the side angle binds can really create a lot of shoulder and trap release, chest release, okay? We're gonna bring our arms back to the T, get strong in your legs. We're gonna slowly start to rise. It's a revolved lunge. So everything stays the same, except your spine goes from bent over to upright. Your back knee might bend as well, okay? I like to work in the bent knee lunges. A lot of times we're always with that back leg straight, but I like to work in the bent knee lunge. So sometimes I'll have you in practice like here, okay? You're kind of like that, but a little bit more straight if you're working it. As you straighten your back knee though, again, it's gonna wanna take that pelvis with an anterior tilt, arch the back, bring that pubic bone forward, and then ribs in a little bit. So that's the revolved lunge. It's a really nice pose to remember. Part of the coil now, taking it to the peak kind of rotational range, flip your front palm up and reverse. So your back hand, your left hand might find your right thigh. You still are twisted though, okay? And then you want to take your time, not going to hold you there long, arms back to the T, step back foot in, seal back heel down, straighten front leg, twist to your left, reach out, start to hinge. Now, that is literally bending over in a twist. That's also, when you think of injuries and like, let's just say like, because we're in a fitness class, like a weightlifting, you always think of stuff like squatting or hinging, like Romanian deadlifts or lunging with weight. But when you think of injuries in like yoga, it's different. Or you think of injuries in life, it's bent over and twisting is really a big one, or lateral bending. So I got you pretty warmed up on the front and back body, and then we work these extended variations of bending and straightening knee, having tension and compression, laterally moving, and then the rotational movements. So we have one more pose here. You're in revolved triangle. You don't have to move just yet. Right? You're going to bend your left knee, walk your right hand forward, take your block with you. Try to keep that left arm up and open. I want really long work on the back of the shoulder. That's a back fly. And then that right leg starts to lift if you shift weight to your right hand or left foot. You shift forward. You want a long spine here. You want long legs and just arms out. Okay, last few breaths here in flow. Just to be clear, this type of transitioning is low level intermediate maybe, okay? It's this huge rotational hold through all your like end ranges. That's what power yoga is for, guys. It's for challenging the body. It's basically where, like I mentioned, it's like turning yoga into a sport, okay? How slow can you go? Bend standing knee, land back foot down, inhale warrior one. Seal it in with the strong physical and mental warrior. And then take your final vinyasa, high plank to low plank. So here in the end, guys, I'm not going to teach, ideally this class would be a little longer, but we've done a lot. I'm going to teach a hip stretch in a back bend form, okay? So if there's other things you want to do at this point, please do it. Down dog, right shin forward. Power pigeon, compressive pigeon, single leg pigeon, whatever you want to call it. Right shin forward and down. Left foot crawls back. I said I'm going to teach this as a back bend. Right hip back, chest, hands down, chest lifts. Pull the navel in and up and breathe. So I'm not going to bring you forward here as a group. If you always do that, time to switch it up. Watch my back foot. It reaches back. I even engage my back leg and lift my back knee a little bit. My right hip back. My left hip forward and down. You notice I reach my arms up for a moment. In a sense, you're strengthening something that you always stretch it. Okay? Big version. Left hand back, grabs left foot. Last few breaths. Pulls the heel toward the hip. Notice I didn't rotate. My left shoulder is always coming forward. Don't forget, you can throw your block under there, underneath your right hip or even left hip if you need. Providing a little extra support, you can use a blanket or a bolster as well. Big inhale, please. Shake that leg out. And it's quite simple. It's just second side here. Okay, left shin forward. This gives one little big opportunity to stretch our IT band, our hip flexor one more time after a lot of strain has been on there. So left shin forward. Now you get the question all the time, does my shin have to be parallel to the front edge of my mat? Like, no, it's a different stretch. If your left foot here is kind of near your front right hip, that is pigeon. It's just a different variation. It's a completely different stretch if your shin can go parallel or angled. I can't do parallel unless I use like 2 blocks and bolsters, right? So how do I get that type of stretch? I would do double seated cross leg, or I do figure 4 on my back. That's how you get that straight angled leg. So there are a lot of ways to do it if you don't have that kind of rotational range. Now, if you're trying it in the big stretch, the right hand reaches back and grabs the top of the right foot, but just make sure you crawl that right leg back first. That's kind of the real first active energy. You lift your chest up and forward, like the pigeon has the puffed up chest. It's not like hollowed and rounded. Okay. A couple breaths. So yogis, we got about 3 minutes left in class, and how it's going to work. Hold on one sec. Huh. You guys still see me? Okay. The next teacher likes to sign in like 20 minutes early and try to take over the room. You'd be too early to class. So how it's going to work, guys, I'm going to teach seated spinal twist and then lay on your back, and you're going to basically start doing shavasana on your own. All right. It's a power yoga class, so I'm going to start using this class to give you your own time for shavasana. So finish up your pigeon, guys. Maybe, we did a ton of twists, but if you want one last one, a short position, time-wise, either seated here, a little bit more like a stretchy twist. A stretchy twist was in lunge and then triangle. Our strength ones were in revolve moon and lunge reverse. So you could go here if you want to lay on your back and go here. If you want to do another stretch like virasana, or if you feel like you need a restorative bridge or fish, good job listening to your body. You don't need to end every class with a hip stretch and that's kind of a trend here in certain yoga worlds. You don't need to end with a twist. You don't need to end with a hip opener. There's a lot of practices I never do any of that, right? It just depends on how I feel. Try to notice just like patterns going on autopilot. All right, that's like the whole game. Does your body go to autopilot? Okay, you do your second side. If you need one last kind of neutralizing twist here, sometimes in the yoga world, it's like, okay, let's release a hip, a leg, let's release a core, and then maybe let's release a shoulder. If you're thinking about certain releases to end practice, it's a good kind of way to look at it. Now, after you finish up your twist, maybe a symmetrical neutralizer, happy baby. If you're sitting, reach for your toes. We did a lot of that though. If you want to go big, it's plow. You swing your legs up over your body, and then you could bring your legs up for shoulder stand. So closing it out with that third huge inversion opportunity. So the idea, guys, of self-imposed shavasana. Now no teacher makes you stay there. No teacher will see you get up and leave the most important pose. It is a repetitive parasympathetic response. Yogis, parasympathetic now, the stress management practice, is considered one of the top things for wellness. And the yogis knew about this years ago. It's not just about intensity and activation. If you always skip shavasana, it's not personal. I'm not saying it to anyone directly. You are the one who needs it the most. All right. You need to work on the discipline of taking the time to do the subtle work of calming the mind and body, especially after a lot of stimulation and strain. Okay. So I'd like you to eventually find a comfortable position. If you want to say thank you for class, just send me ESP. I'll get it. I'll get the ESP message. You don't need to say it verbally. We're going to do shavasana on our own. Try to go as long as you can. If you can go a half an hour, you're starting to become really disciplined. So self-imposed shavasana today or seated meditation. Be still, be quiet until you really feel your body calm in a great way. And then slowly exit. All right. Thank you, yogis. Really nice job today. Next week, we're going to do some weirder yoga. So I'll see you then. All right.